Alrighty then, I'm back with part 2 as promised. No, I said I'd be back in about 2 hours after recording it, but yeah, it took a bit longer to upload than expected. It's daytime now outside, it's early morning, it's about 7 o'clock, so. And it's raining like hell if you can see out the window. Hold on, it's my plant there. I don't know if you can see out the window. But it's raining like hell out there. Oh yeah, might as well give you a little tutorial of my office space, if you can call it that. It's that big, it looks smaller on camera, it's huge, trust me. It's my dumpster TV that I found at the trash dump, that Mitsubishi plasma TV. And there's that table which I'm going to have my vocoder and MIDI keyboard and everything sitting on. And in a little while I just got to set it up and move all that out the way. There's some little pegs underneath that old drawer there. I gotta shave those off, and then I can sit that thing up there on the top shelf. So, and then there's my recliner that used to be my dad's, and then after he died, I just sort of I kept all of his furniture and kept all of his stuff, because if he's not here and his stuff is, I can we live in the same house that he lived in too, so it's like just sort of maintain things and keep them the way as they were. So. Sort of makes you feel like you're still here to some degree, but yeah, I have that recliner sitting there. Used to be his, so, and that son of a bitch sits so good, dude. I sleep in that thing all the time. Me and my grandfather call it the bed chair. It's awesome. But anyway, we're back here with part 2. So I'm talking about solar wardens is where I left off in the last video, and essentially, what the theory behind Solar Warden is that they're... What the hell? Oh. The theory behind Solar Warden is that, or the Solar Warden theory, I wouldn't say a theory, because, there's nothing wrong, there's no evidence really backing this up other than a few pictures that could be fake. So, I don't know, but, the idea is that there are ships, these gigantic capital ships, out on the outer edges of our solar system, and that are monitoring the solar system and protecting us from some outside threat. And the idea is that these ships are run by humans. Now, there are different thoughts on whether or not it's modern humans whose governments are working in secret to produce such ships, and to be honest with you, I think that idea is kind of stupid. It's pretty retarded, actually, I think, because when you think about it, these ships, as big as they are, or at least the supposed pictures of them when they're supposedly caught on camera, these things look like they're about as massive as the entire city of New York, like New York City. It's like the size of Manhattan Island. Or take 15 Manhattan Islands and just stack them in front of one another. That's about how long this thing would be. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai, take about approximately 500,000 of those sons of bitches and just kind of stack them out in front of one another. That's about how big these things look like they are. So, if they're that big, you definitely see them being built on Earth. So, I'd say that's debunked, just for that reason alone. There are other reasons, too, like, as big as these things are and the amount of resources it would take to build one, Earth alone does not have enough resources to offer to build all these ships. And if there's as many as people say there are, they say they're around Saturn. The ring makers of Saturn theory is that same thing. It's like there's these giant ships around Saturn that build these rings, and some people think that they're human-made. We don't have enough resources. That would mean that there are thousands of ships in the solar system alone, which could be. I could get behind you on that. There could be thousands of ships in our solar system. Hundreds of thousands of ships in our solar system of this caliber. But I don't think they're being made on Earth, because we don't have enough resources to build that many ships. So what I think is, if this is true, it could be, could not be, I don't know. I personally like to believe it, but I don't, think what you will. But if it is real, then I'd have to go with idea or theory or whatever you want to call it, letter B, and that is that it's humans, but it's humans that diverged long ago and went into space. So it would be like tying into the previous video I made about ancient humans, which, this is a sequel, so of course it's going to tie in. And what I think, in my own beliefs, I agree. I like to agree with that one. I personally think that long ago, humans went to like Mars or something, and then on that world, we used resources from that planet to build said ships. Oh, look, some ducks just landed on the pond. Cool. We used those resources to build some of these ships, and then we mined some comets and things like that. And I think that we're still out there. And personally, my whole entire theory about these aliens, so to speak, within our solar system, I think there's some in our solar system that watch us. But honestly, what I think the Anunnaki was just humans. Or something humanoid. Actually, not the Anunnaki, but because that would have been too long ago. The Anunnaki, I believe, in the way they're described, are not human. But what I do think, well, no, the Anunnaki is a Sumerian story. I take that back. Okay, so yeah, the Anunnaki. That's what I'm talking about. Personally, that story about the Anunnaki could be humans, and the way they appeared too. Even though I say it seemed maybe like it was a bit too alien. It's not really, when you think about it. Like, think about if you went to Pluto and bred children there for like the next 7 generations, or no, next 75 generations, and you'd imagine these kids would look a lot different than you. Natural selection would kick in, evolution would kick in overdrive, and these kids would look far, like, just vastly different from you or your kin back on Earth do. You'd think so, right? You'd think they'd look vastly different, and they would. And the way these Anunnaki are described is that they're very tall, slender individuals that have elongated fingers, they have posable thumbs too, so, they're built like humans here on Earth would be. So they possibly could have been humans that just went away and evolved, but then again, I don't know because of how long it takes to evolve and the slow breeding rates of humans. Maybe they evolved to breed faster on that planet. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do think is that these solar warden things are, and also, like I was saying a minute ago, some of these that currently monitor, I think a lot of these UFO sightings you see now are human. That TR-3B Black Manta thing that was in our orbit could have been human. And I think what possibly happened is during a certain time in ancient history with like the Ice Age, man diverged, part of us went to space like we're wanting to do now. We're wanting to leave some on Earth, go to Mars and colonize that planet, leave some back home on the home world. I think what happened then in that time period is that we made it to Mars, and then what happened is the home world got destroyed by the fucking Ice Age. And those that were, it was a catastrophe that could not be fixed. Not like, nuclear war or something, the radiation hits or something like that. That could be fixed. This Ice Age is like unstoppable. You have mountains of ice moving across the surface at a slow but steady pace, and you're pretty well screwed. So what I think is that humans that stayed on Earth were pretty well done for, and the ones that were on Mars were just allowed to freely breed, do whatever they want to, because Mars doesn't have ice. It has no chance of an Ice Age. So after the Ice Age, people went back to the Dark Ages. So they went back literally to the Stone Age, because everything they ever knew, all their technology was wiped out by these glaciers that were just pounding everything into the mud. And then when they relocated, they slowly began to rediscover. And what I think happened is these humans that diverged are watching us progress again and are helping us behind the scenes to progress. Like you hear these CIA leaked things about, you hear these leaked things out of the CIA, and I think the OSS way back in the day too, around the Roswell days, had some documents on this thing, and it was like where the government was supposedly meeting with these beings from space. That could have been just they were meeting with humans. If it's true, and we did meet with aliens, it could have just been people that look exactly like us. It could just be humans that live on a spaceship in space, sitting in our orbit, and they're just watching us develop. Yeah. Wouldn't that be weird? Like if we're colonizing space and we make it to Mars, or let's say we make it out to Europa, and or Titan, or one of these moons, and you just see this base there, and it's like, whoa, what the hell? You land, and then like your cousin Billy walks walks out to greet you as soon as you land. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Or some shit like that. Your long lost Neanderthal cousin. You know, he comes out the door with his beard and shit, and he's like, "Hey, man." Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But you know. You don't know. That's the funny thing about all this stuff. You can speculate, and it's fun to speculate, and it's fun to make videos about, but there's no way to know for sure what's going on out there, at least to us at this moment in time. When we make it out there, then we can be the judge. But so long as we're just sitting here on the surface of this rock, and we're looking up into the stars and trying to make educated guesses, I don't think we're going to get anywhere. You know, I don't think we're going to get anywhere with that stuff. If we just do that, well, you know, this stuff will be relegated to speculation to the end of time. I'm so fucking tired. But, yeah. You know, it's imperative, if you wish to study this stuff, it's imperative you study it from the stars. If you want to see if there's aliens out there, you got to go to where you think the aliens are, which is space. You got to go out into the cosmos and fly around the solar system and do things like that. And hope you see something weird pop out from around that there bend. You know, like make sure you land on the right planet. You might get to see Uncle Billy with his beard. No, in all seriousness though, it would be pretty neat if that what I'm saying is true, and these so-called aliens are humans. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this pretty well concludes part 2. You know, it's short-ish, so. Yeah, because I covered most of what I wanted to cover in the first one, so yeah, this is pretty well the end of part 2. So I'll let you go. I'm gonna get this one uploaded and probably take a nap for about 8 hours, and then I'll get back at you this evening with another one. So yeah, man, I'll see you guys later, or dudes, or whatever the fuck you want me to call you. See you later. Hey, before I go, you ever see an old person's let me sit this down so it's not shaking around. You ever see an old, that just with the way I held the camera reminded me, you ever see an old person's like Instagram or Facebook or something? Your grandma's on there, and your grandpa, you ever notice they take their profile pictures like this? They all do that. Like they go to smile at you, but instead of like, they go like this. And it just looks bad. But anyway, I don't know why I even said that. I just thought it was worth mentioning. Anyway, see ya.